Welcome everyone to the Dr. Abs Healthcast. I'm your host, Dr. Brian Abasolo, aka Dr. Abs. And on today's show, we have CEO, certified nutrition coach, and fellow podcaster, Dave Sherwin. Now, Dave is a certified fitness and nutrition coach, entrepreneur, and practitioner of mindfulness and meditation. His passion is helping grown-ups navigate real-world business and life challenges to achieve their best health and wellness at any age. He's also the creator and host of the Dirobi Health Show, which covers health and wellness, including the latest in nutrition, exercise, supplements, and clinical studies. I'm looking forward to bringing Dave on, so let's bring on Dave Sherwin. Welcome to the show, Dave. How you doing today?
Great. Thanks so much for having me on the show.
Great, man. Happy to have you on. You are a CEO, a certified nutrition coach, and a podcaster, fellow podcaster. So really big thanks for coming on today. And I just want to jump right into it. You are a health coach, so that's what this show is all about. So I want to dive right in. I want you to talk about, let's discuss the top 7 principles of health. What are they? What do the people need to know?
Yeah, that's such a great question. And it's based on simplicity, right? There's just too much confusing and difficult information out there. And so This is my distillation of my years in the health industry. I've been a professional in the health industry since 2009, but a lifelong enthusiast, which is what led me to be a professional, right?
Yeah.
But along the way, I absorbed as much misinformation and bad information. And of course, nutritional science has evolved a ton since, I've reached this point in my career. So these 7 are my distillation of 7 simple things people could follow to have really great health that's based on the latest nutritional science and easy to do. Okay.
That's a key word right there. Easy.
It really is, because a lot of these things are difficult.
Yeah.
Let's just be blunt. How many people do you know who start keto who are still on it in 3 years?
Probably not many. It's a tough go. It's a tough go. I don't know if I necessarily recommend it long term, but those short bursts, it's definitely helped me a lot. But yes, I totally get you on that.
Me too. And I've done it and I understand it and I get it. I'm with you. There's nothing wrong with it except for the fact that for many people, it's really difficult to get through life or through a party or through a wedding, knowing that you just can't have anything that's on the table, right?
Exactly.
And so number one, and so corollary to that is the fact is you maybe don't have to do anything extreme to have great health. Right. So we don't want to do any more than we have to reach our particular goals. And again, that's what these are based on as well. It's kind of the 80-20 rule of doing those 20 things that will give you the most bang for the buck. Number 1 is stop drinking calories. This is especially true for people wanting to lose weight.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So it's a 2-part thing. It's drink lots of water. Half your body weight in ounces is a great rule of thumb. If you weigh 150 pounds, and you drink 75 ounces of water, that's a great measurement right there, okay? That doesn't include what you drink during exercise. During exercise, we should drink what our body wants. And then outside of that, drink 75 ounces per day. And that's number 1. And then cutting out calories, because we drink, not only are we drinking calories that are helping us or keeping us from losing the weight, but they're not healthy calories generally, even juices and things that we think are healthy.
Super high in sugar. I mean, those sodas, Coke, Pepsi, all those have a crazy amount of sugar in them. And I don't think people realize, I think I heard one time, it was like, if somebody drinks a can of soda every single day for a whole year, it's like that would accumulate into like 15 extra pounds on your body. Something ridiculous. Wow. I may be off. Don't quote me on that, everybody, but it definitely will have an impact on your weight. So I couldn't agree with you more. If we were just able to, limit those calories in drinks, we would make a lot of headway when it comes to weight loss. So yes, water, drink as much water as possible. Totally agree with you.
And that's number 1. Number 2 is going to be interesting to a lot of people, I'm sure, because it blew me away when I first heard it, but it is based on absolute rock solid science. And that is, we need to eat all our food slowly and mindfully. And how we eat is more important than what we eat.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I feel like we're in the rat race every day, and, we're running around, trying to make that dollar and going to work. And people have kids and the whole nine, just so many distractions. And it's like, you need to sit down and focus on chewing your food. I feel like I remember, actually, I'm guilty of that. One time I still am a workaholic, but when I was working in my previous office a couple years back, I would eat standing up. I would literally swallow and inhale my food because I had patients waiting, and I wasn't mindful, like you said, and that can have a definite a detriment, to any progress that you want to make.
Yeah, and part of it goes back to what you said about drinking the calories.
Yeah.
It's just this sneaky little thing of a few extra calories per day really adds up.
Yep.
Well, this is a corollary principle to that, because we tend to think of our stomach as kind of a cave or a hole that food drops into that we've chewed in our mouth. It's not a hole. As a matter of fact, it's made up of folds. And as we chew the food thoroughly, we're working enzymes into the food to pre-digest the food and break it down. Then when it gets into our stomach is kind of slow at working through the folds and absorbing all the nutrients that need to go into our bloodstream. And then the ghrelin, the hormones that trigger the brain that we're full, are kind of slow. Our body's not perfect. There's parts of our body and our electrical system in our brain that aren't wired perfectly. And nutrition is one of them. Eating is one of them.
Yep.
And so by eating slowly, and we have lots of studies on this, when you eat slowly, you eat less.
Mm. Yeah.
And also a lot of people, they have trouble digesting, bloating, gas, indigestion, and they're not getting everything out of the food. So they're uncomfortable. They're not enjoying the food.
Yeah.
And they're putting on weight. And so trying to eat every meal slowly and mindfully is number two.
Yeah, no, I mean, how many times I think we're all guilty of this, where we eat with our eyes, we start inhaling, all this food, and we eat so much, and then like our body catches up, 15 minutes later, it's like, holy crap, you're so full right now. Like you can't even move. But it's like, if you would have slowed down a little bit, you might have felt that, stop in your hunger levels a lot earlier in the process if you would have just chewed your food properly. So again, can't agree with you more.
Yep. And number three is intermittent fasting. Our bodies do best when we're not eating from the minute we wake up to the minute we go to sleep. And let's face it, what we usually eat after dinner is not the best quality food. No one craves broccoli at 8:00 at night.
No.
Right?
Snacking and sweets and treats, you name it. Agree.
Yeah. And so intermittent fasting is a really great concept. Again, not just for weight loss, but for overall health.
Yeah.
And it's quite simple. And chances are your listeners already know this, but basically just pick an eating window within which you eat all your food. And again, it doesn't have to be crazy. I know some of you have probably heard, try a 4-hour window, but that can just be brutal. And you spend a lot of time being hungry. You don't have to do that. An 8-hour window is quite easy to do. It might take you it took me, I've been doing this for 2 to 3 years now, going on 3 years. And it actually took me 90 days to adjust. I had to work
16-8, like a 16 is what you do.
I started as 16-8. And at first I was hungry in the morning and it was difficult. And I was also tempted in the evening. But I would say that the hard work of adjusting, at least for me, was about 90 days. And now I love it, because now I don't have to fight it. Now it's the opposite. Now food has to fight to get in me outside that window, because I know how much better I feel when I observe the 8-hour eating window.
Now, when you wake up, is there anything that you take to kind of get you through that window? Maybe like a cup of coffee or anything like that, or tea?
It's a great question. I don't take anything to get through the window. I actually do just find out, because I really think it's how our body's meant to be. If we go back not very long ago, before refrigeration, right? So millennia of human beings living as hunter-gatherers, right? They didn't have refrigerators. They couldn't just grab whatever they wanted or have a midnight snack, right?
Correct.
I actually think we're just adjusting to what we're ancestrally designed to do. So the answer is no. I'm really not hungry now until about 10 or 11 in the morning. I do take Cell Fuel as one of our products, which I use as a performance product. It's a enzyme, electrolyte, and I also take salt. I add a teaspoon of salt to my
pink
workout.
Himalayan sea salt, or
exactly. Yes, a good quality natural mineral salt. Yes,
absolutely.
I also take electrolytes. So for me, it's more about supporting my body through my workout in the morning than because I'm hungry.
Do you work out fasted?
I do every
Okay.
day.
Every day. So you definitely
Every day.
recommend fasting. I mean, for
Look,
weight loss, there's nothing better than that.
when you're fasted, when you wake up in the morning, for both men and women. Now, we all often talk about estrogen being the female hormone and testosterone being the male hormone, but we both have both, right? To different degrees.
Yep.
And first thing in the morning, both estrogen and testosterone are very high. So is HGH, and blood sugar is low. That is a perfect scenario and recipe for getting a great workout. And as a matter of fact, Kevin Rail, who, by the way, I highly recommend you interview if you haven't had him on the podcast. He was on the fasting documentary on Amazon.
Oh, really?
Okay. Yeah, he was on my podcast. He's a great guest and an expert in fasting. And he talks about this and how after that workout, you then create another situation where your metabolism is burning. So your hormones stay perfect, your blood sugar stays low, and you're now in a fat burning zone until you eat that first meal. So
you're
there's
like
just
a furnace,
nothing
man.
but turn your body into a fat burning furnace.
Yep. Yeah, I totally agree with you. What else? That was number 3. What's number 4?
Number 4 is how we eat our food. So I'm sorry, what food we eat. So number 2 is how we eat our food. Number 4, we need to eat a good balance of carbs, protein, fat, and include 5 to 9 servings of vegetables in that mix every day. So now we get to our eating window. And I'm a precision nutrition certified coach. That's where I got my certification.
Okay.
And in precision nutrition, we teach the hand rules. Now, it's more like pirates, like guidelines, right?
Yeah.
This is not exact science.
Not exact,
it's close.
Yeah.
If you look at your hand, if you close it, that's about the size of a carb serving. For many people, that's a potato. For example, at dinner time, a potato, but not 2 or 3 potatoes. You see?
Yeah. That's the thing. We overserve ourselves all the time. We're like, oh, this isn't a lot. But if you measured it with your hand, you'd probably go over.
Just have a look at your hand and try to limit the carbs to that. The palm is what we would consider the protein serving, right?
Yep.
For breakfast, that might be 2 to 3 eggs, depending on the size of your hand. Yep. And of course, your hand is proportional to the size of your body. So this works no matter how big you are, right?
Yes.
So whether it's 2 to 3 eggs or a piece of meat, or if you're a vegetarian, it might be nuts, right? Or tofu, whatever, right?
Yeah.
You get the idea.
Yes.
Your thumb would be about, fats, about 2 ounces for a lot of people, but having a little bit of healthy fat. So if you have no other fat in your meal, it may simply mean cooking your food with some avocado oil or olive oil, something like that.
Do it all the time. Did it this morning.
Yeah, perfect. And often we don't have to add fat. Like I mentioned, eggs. Eggs have healthy fat within them already. So you often don't have to add fat. If you're going to have meat, same thing. It has fat, right?
So what is a typical breakfast or typical first meal of the day after you fasted? What does that look like?
I really like green smoothies. Green smoothies are kind of my go-to. There used to be some kind of myth out there that, oh no, green smoothies, they liquefy the food and they just spike your blood sugar. That can be true, but it's not from the liquefaction of the food. Like people that are wearing glucose monitors and monitoring what happens to their blood sugar after they eat. We know from all that data that it has much more to do with the simple carbs in a green smoothie. For example, some people shouldn't use a banana. I use a banana, and if I don't have a banana every day, I tend to be low on potassium. So banana is my source of potassium and energy, and I like how it sweetens a green smoothie.
Of course.
So I usually do a cup of berries, a banana, flaxseed. I add some coconut oil for fat.
The good fat,
some mixed nut butter in there for more protein and fat. Usually a scoop of protein powder, and blend that up. And it's delicious, and it's convenient, and it's helping me get enough phytonutrients and vegetable. And a big, huge handful of dark green leafy vegetables.
Yep.
Spinach,
I mean, it seems like
kale.
you're getting everything. And this would be obviously after your workout.
Yeah, correct. But 10 or 11 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah. So, I mean, you're getting all that nutritious food in that blender into your body right after a tough workout. So you're obviously feeling your muscles, and that's how you do it. You're feeling your muscles with that. Your testosterone, your HGH, like you said, is skyrocketing in the morning. And then once you get that workout in, you're burning fat right there. So that's a great way to go about it.
Yeah.
And what's so we're on a number 5. What's number 5?
Number 5 is observe a simple supplement strategy. The thing about it is if you, and now I mentioned how I'm low on potassium. The reason I know that is because I test. Okay. So
gotcha.
This is something I teach people to do. Trust data, not dogma. There's too much dogma and junk out there that we've all heard. And it's better to just get your blood work tested and find out where you stand as far as deficiencies.
Yeah.
And chances are when you do that, you're going to find that you're low on vitamin D, you're low on zinc, you're low on a variety of minerals. And so I like to get a nutritional blood panel done once a year and then adjust from there. And so that's how I came up with my supplement strategy. But it's also how we came up with our products. Like our Mimi's Miracle Multi is a multi. We've seen so many tests come in this country now, so many nutritional blood panels that we know the basics of what almost everyone's deficient on. And so we actually formulated one of our products around that. So I take that in our mineral product and it tends to do the job. But then I found that consistently there's major minerals that, like, for example, I have to supplement calcium a little bit.
Okay.
Potassium, as I mentioned. But I don't do that with a supplement. I do it with bananas.
Okay. So you do it through food. Okay.
I do it through food. But some things I found, like vitamin D, it's great to supplement. Zinc, chromium. These are things that no matter how healthy I eat, I'm just deficient. And so my key point here about observing a simple supplement strategy is, number 1, fill in your deficiencies. And number 2, improve yourself. Like, for example, there's many improvement-based dietary supplements. Creatine is a great example.
Yeah.
There's so much research on creatine that if we take creatine, it increases our muscle mass and muscle density and strength. And so why not? Right.
Right. Yep.
And so creatine, glutathione, some of the performance supplements, L-arginine, there's all kinds of supplements out there. So I'd say take care of the basics first.
Yeah.
And from there, take care of performance. If there's supplements out there that can help you perform better, sleep better, melatonin.
Yeah.
Melatonin for many people is a wonderful supplement to help them sleep. So
I took it last night.
Yeah.
To help me sleep.
And again, why not? There's so much great science on it. We know that our body needs melatonin to become drowsy. We need to become drowsy to fall asleep. And we have tons of sleep problems in the country. So great example.
Yeah. No, I love what you said there as far as the evidence is in the blood, right? I mean, why not get a panel? Don't just go on Google and just, Google your symptoms. And if it says I'm deficient in magnesium, well, I must need magnesium. Like, go actually get checked, get those blood work levels, fill in those nutritional gaps that, are missing, those deficiencies that you talked about. And then, like you said, there's so many amazing supplements out there that are all natural. Maybe it's an amino acid like L-arginine that, can help with your circulatory system, help that blood flow out, especially when you're working out with those pumps, that would help a lot. Yeah. So, there's so many supplements out there. I totally agree with you that, could enhance, but like you said, focus on the gaps that are, the essentials that are missing first.
Yes. Focus on your deficiencies. And because if we go through the average person's supplement cupboard, half the time there's no rhyme or reason to what's in there.
Yeah, it's just random products all over the place.
Just random stuff. Oh, I heard on the radio I should take this. Or I went to my friend's party and they had this magical juice from the Himalayas that only grows over 10,000 feet. And if I take this $40 bottle a month, I'm going to feel terrific.
I'll live forever.
Yeah. And meantime, they're deficient on vitamin D, right?
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Filling in your basic deficiencies is number 1 by far. And those tend to be vitamins and minerals. So
Absolutely.
A really good quality vitamin and mineral supplement is usually the basis of a supplement strategy.
That's a start for sure. Yeah. All right. We're on to number 6.
We're on 6. Number 6 is exercise every day.
Every day?
7 days a week.
Really? At least some type of activity.
That's right. It could be a walk, right? I'm not saying a hard, intense workout 7 days a week, not by any means.
Yeah.
But what I am saying is being sedentary is working against your health. Of course, we need rest. We'll talk about that here in a minute. And of course, we're not designed to be going all the time, but we're also not designed to be sitting for 8 hours in an office chair. And
That's
so
right.
even just, and many of us are working from home. So even just some small trigger workouts, like getting up out of your chair and doing 10 squats and 10 push-ups and getting back in your chair and going back to work, right?
Yep.
Going for a walk. So what I tend to do is my own plan consists of 4, fairly intense, organized, hard, tough workouts that are going to keep me physically strong and work on my cardio, et cetera. On one day a week, I do a very light 1 hour of mobility, which is just kind of helping me recover from everything. Every single day of the week, I walk my dog for half an hour in the morning and half an hour at night. So I'm a big fan of the 10,000 steps, and I try to get that every day. So for me, that's how it works, and it's enjoyable. This is not, I have to exercise, right?
Yeah.
And it shouldn't be for your listeners either. So when you hear me say exercise 7 days a week, what this is really is countering the sedentary lifestyle that leads to being in a wheelchair when you're 80, when you didn't have to be in a wheelchair when you turn 80.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. No, I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, movement is the key to our lives. I mean, we got to move. And I love what you said there. It could be as easy as 30 minutes walking your dog. You may not think you're exercising, but hey, you're taking those steps, you're walking, you're getting your blood pumping and your legs moving. So that definitely counts. And I love what you said as far as the body work that you do. I know that's a big thing nowadays. A lot of people, just take it's rather than lifting the weights, maybe do a yoga day or a body movement day. And those could still be really challenging on your body, but in a different way. And I think that'll keep things spicy when it comes to your exercise routine.
Yeah. And that's the goal. I like the word spicy. It's
I just threw that out there.
Something you're going to do, something you like. It's not about anybody else, right? It's just finding a way to move your body every day, or even to work in those trigger workouts that I talked about. So you're not going for long periods of time, sitting hunched over, shoulders forward. You're a chiropractor, you get it. You see this, right? You're having to solve this problem, get people in good posture.
Yeah,
right.
Absolutely.
So there we go.
And I mean, I think the key is sustainability, right? I mean, you want to create a program for yourself that is going to be sustainable long-term. Like if you're doing something that, God, this is dreadful. I don't want to do it. I don't want to wake up and go to the gym or do this and that, then maybe that's not for you, but maybe movement, walking, other activities are. So for everybody listening, find what it is that you love to do, whether it's weightlifting or running or jogging, whatever it is, but just get out and move is what we're trying to portray.
That's right. In a way you enjoy. So it shouldn't be a burden. It shouldn't be something that is really hard for you to do. It should be something you enjoy. Absolutely.
And last but not least,
get 7 to 9 hours of sleep every single night.
I think that's a tough one for a lot of people.
It's getting less so. More and more people are kind of waking up from the delusion that we were in for decades. We're raised in a high functioning society where people are go-getters and they want to succeed. And there's nothing wrong with that, of course. I want to succeed myself. You do as well. But the problem is we've been sold a bill of goods. It doesn't come from spending 60 hours a week in an office. That is not the key to success. Burning the candle at both ends, staying up late, getting up early. Now, getting up early is okay.
Yeah.
The problem is you got to go to bed early.
You got to go to bed earlier.
Yeah. And again, there's too much science on this. We just know everyone thinks they're the exception. This is the problem. The person thinks, no, I do fine on 5. Now you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
Like go with 7 for 6 months and then tell me how fine you were on 5. Right.
Yeah.
There are some exceptions. I'll admit there are some people that a little less than 7 is fine. And there are people also that need more than 9, and teenagers, especially teenagers. I mean, the way that we're getting our kids up super early in the morning and have them go off to school, it's a disaster. We know from the sleep studies on teens and preteens that they need a lot of sleep. They need 9 to 10 hours of sleep.
Do you believe in naps?
I do. I nap every day.
Really?
I do.
Okay.
I do.
How long do you nap for?
I usually set an alarm for 25 minutes.
25 minutes. So is that like from the moment you're sleeping, like you're fully asleep to 25, or just set a timer and that's as much as you're getting?
I'm such a geek about this. I experimented for months. I practiced 10-minute naps, 15, 20, 5-minute increments up to 45,
Okay.
and just saw how I felt. And I found that at a 45-minute nap, first of all, it's too much time out of my day. I didn't like that part, but also I didn't fall asleep that well at night.
Mm,
And I also didn't wake up feeling refreshed. So it was
gotcha.
kind of funny. And so I backed it back down and I experimented. And I found for me that a 25-minute nap is like, it's good. It's not taking too much time out of my day. I lie down, I set the alarm, and sometimes I don't fall asleep either. And that's okay. I just breathe and I just lie there. And I try to just, if the thoughts come in my mind, just a meditative thing, if the thoughts come in, I try to just observe that they came and let them go and all that. And I try to sleep. But if I don't, I just rest for 25 minutes. And for me, when I get back up, it feels like starting a new day. I'm rejuvenated.
It's like an
I'm
energy
ready to
boost.
go tackle. It is. It's an energy boost, and it's a mental, not just physical. If I don't have a nap, a lot of times I'm like mentally, if I sit down at the computer to work, I just realize I'm just not as sharp. I'm just not knocking projects off like I did in the morning.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if I have a good nap, I do.
Exactly. If I could just get those 25 extra minutes, I can get down to business with this work. I totally agree with you. I feel like, again, I mentioned earlier, we're all in this rat race where, go, go, go. We want to make as much money as possible and be successful to provide for our families. And a lot of times we don't look inward and notice how much we need to take care of ourselves, and I think sleeping and getting that proper recovery is essential. And I agree with you. I'm also a nap lover myself. 25 minutes is a little short. I'm going to extend mine to like 35 minutes. I'll give it like that 5-minute interval just to hopefully I can fall asleep and then get a good 30 minutes in. But I'm telling you, it works. It definitely works.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because I hope people didn't take out of my story that 25 minutes is the magic number for them.
Yeah, it could be anything.
What I want
to
tell my story is practice the 5-minute increment thing I said.
Yeah.
Try a 10-minute nap, a 15, 20, 25, go up, go down and play with it. And I think most people, just like you have done already, that your number is a little more than 25. That's terrific. I mean, the key is to know that number for you personally.
Yeah. No, and what you said, you don't like to waste too much of your day. So if it's like the middle of the afternoon, you don't want to spend your whole day sleeping. You want to just set that up, 30 minutes, 25 minutes, whatever it is for your body. And then once you get up, you're going to be refreshed. You're going to be able to get more things accomplished. And it's good. It's going to be great for you. Now I'm 41. So not a spring chicken anymore. So we're getting, what can you say to people out there that want to stay in their best physical shape, but they're aging, which obviously it's a natural part of life, but we still want to maintain that edge. What do you suggest, and what advice do you give to those people?
Great question. And I'm one of those, and I have the exact same concerns. I'm 55.
You look great.
Thank you very much. And I want to look good and feel good for as long as I can, like everyone else.
Absolutely.
Right? And so great question. Now, the 7-day-a-week thing, honestly, that came from aging. When I was younger, I exercised 3 or 4 days a week and it was fine for me. The 7-day-a-week thing came from looking at the science and the studies and exercise and biomechanic books like Kelly Strett's Becoming a Supple Leopard. And all the science points to our bodies being designed to move. So I'd say that one is more critical for aging people than for younger people. Younger bodies can tolerate a little more abuse. Older bodies need more maintenance. So that's number one. You're a chiropractor, so this won't surprise you, but too many of us move incorrectly. And after I read Kelly Strett's book, Becoming a Supple Leopard, I changed the way I go up and down stairs. Okay. So that may sound really bizarre, and also how I walk, right?
People don't think about these things.
We don't think about them. And when you finally do, and you pay attention to how you do a deep squat in the gym, for example, it might feel right to you, but have someone watch, right? Because someone watching from the side might tell you something very different than what you're feeling. And so I would say getting a coach who can watch you, or even asking a workout partner to watch you move in your movements in the gym. So, we don't want to get injured, right? So this is another thing. When I got injured when I was 30, I recovered pretty quick. I was back at it. I'm much more careful now.
Oh
I
yeah.
don't want another broken bone. Because when I lose my fitness now at age 55, it takes me a lot longer to get it back.
Yeah.
So I don't want to have any breaks. And so I don't take chances like I used to. I'm much more careful. My primary workout is now a rowing machine.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, yeah. And I love
It's
it
good cardio
because
workout, right?
it's great cardio. It's also strength. Like sometimes I'm going really hard on that machine and it's strength building. Other times I'm going long and slow, more for cardio.
Yep.
But
Yep.
all of it is very easy on my joints.
Yeah.
And
No,
so,
trust me, I know exactly what you're talking about. I feel like, back in my 20s, it was work out for 2-3 hours in the gym, do it all over again the next day for, 6 days a week. And now it's like, I think I spend a third of my time warming up just to get my body
great
prepared for the
point.
workout. So, as you age, you kind of gotta focus more on, the preparation, like you said, the functional movements, doing things correctly, because like you said, that could be an easy path towards injury if you don't warm
Yeah.
up properly. So, it's good
Yeah.
to develop those habits early on, even if it's from a young age.
Absolutely. And then these 7 things that I talked about, each one of them, for those of you listening, as you're getting older, think through what I said. Like if you make sure you get enough sleep, that's when your body's recovering. That's when it's getting rid of. Now, as we get older, another thing we got to be concerned about is heart problems, metabolic syndrome,
Yep.
gaining weight. These things become more and more critical. How many people reach the age of 40 and have a heart attack in this country? The answer is too many. I don't know the stat, but there's way too many. And so we need to be paying more attention to things to not only to support our heart, but one of the reasons as we get older that intermittent fasting is so important is because during the night, since we've had our last meal at say 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock at night and we haven't eaten another thing, the energy of our body doesn't have to focus on digestion. Instead,
Correct.
it starts working on pathogens, carcinogens, toxins, and getting rid of all that crud. Now, back to what we talked about earlier about a hard workout or even an easy workout. Again, what are we doing? When the heart is racing and we're sweating and we're peeing and we're going, right?
Yeah.
And we're getting rid of all these toxins and junk, right? Until we eat another meal. And so we haven't got enough research for long enough now to know what the reduced rate on cancer will be from people who intermittent fast. But I promise you that over time, I believe we'll find a direct correlation between cancer reduction in people who do intermittent fasting and probably other diseases as well, because these things are constantly working on us. We all have carcinogens in our system right now, pathogens, toxins.
No, and definitely from our environment and, just everything around us is causing more and more toxins as we get more evolved with technology and whatnot. So, I mean, even computers, all the radiation and all these other things that come from all these other gadgets and stuff. I mean, it can wear on your body.
Yeah. And so we have to give our body that time to recover. Again, 7 to 9 hours sleep. What's happening during those 7 to 9, right? We're rejuvenating, we're cleansing, we're getting rid of all that junk. We're doing it because we got an empty stomach, so we're able to do it. So I actually call this the virtuous cycle. For those of you, your listeners, on my website, dirobi.com, dirobi.com, there's a page of resources. And I've got one called the virtuous cycle. You can click on it and print it. You don't have to enter your email, nothing. And it shows how all of this works together in a 24-hour period. So that's a good resource. And there's a few others there if you want to grab them that kind of show you how all this works.
I appreciate that resource, Dave. I'm sure that can help a lot of people. So tell me a little bit about your supplement line, because obviously you've mentioned a couple products already, but just developing a functional supplement strategy. Like what kind of research and ingredient list went into developing your supplement line?
It mostly came from just me geeking out. I started in weight loss in 2009.
Okay.
And we had a tremendous success early. It was really a great story business-wise. We became one of the top-selling companies in the weight loss industry at that time.
Nice.
And it was awesome. We're doing really well. I had always been essentially fit. I'd never really struggled with weight loss.
Yeah.
And to be honest, just totally blunt, I kind of was judgy about people. And I thought, hey, why is it so hard to lose weight? Just eat less, right?
Yeah.
And I just really didn't understand. But as we started to get more and more weight loss customers, that's where I learned, hey, this is a challenge. Like I've got my own challenges. That's theirs, right?
Everybody's different, right?
Everyone's different. So just because it's easy for me to lose weight doesn't mean it's easy for everyone else. And so I had this huge epiphany because there was an integrity issue. I wanted people to lose weight and keep it off. And I found that I can't do that just selling them a weight loss supplement. What next?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. You need that sustainability. You need that. You want that accountability to, at least you want to let them go knowing the blueprint in their mind of what it's going to take to keep them at their, weight loss goal and not shoot back up. Because then, what's the point? It's like you're yo-yoing like every other fad diet. Yeah.
Yeah. And a lot of people are in the mindset of going on a diet and then they don't have a good solid plan they can rely on for after that. And so from the success of the weight loss side of things, we were able to take and branch out and do all the research. I've got a couple of PhD scientists. One's got a degree in nutrition and one in chemistry. And those are the guys that I run my ideas by. So I did a lot of research. For example, there's many studies showing that multivitamins don't work. They don't improve longevity. They don't make people feel better. And the problem with that, of course, is most of them are just cheap junk. There's just, they
don't digest them properly.
Yeah. And so it's things like that I would research and geek out on. And I've got subscriptions to the periodicals and go to the shows, and I know the ingredient makers. And so basically just geeking out on this stuff, studying it, and then going to the PhD guys and saying, look, why is this? Why don't multivitamins work? And then figuring out, like I mentioned earlier, from the science, what are people deficient on? So how could we formulate something that works? And so it all came from that research. And then the other part was price. The problem is when you go down this rabbit hole, you quickly find that if people spent like $500 a month, they could really be fit.
If only we could all spend that much.
Yeah. And so that was the other thing is we wanted to develop a line of supplements that was affordable. And so we tried to go with those things based on the research of what most Americans are deficient in, and not pad it with anything that was just there for fluff. That's what a lot of companies do.
They fillers.
Oh, this has this. And you don't really need that, right? It's back to what I said about deficiencies. Fill in the deficiencies.
Yeah. Focus on what we need exactly, and don't add all the other fluff.
Yes. Too much of it is marketing. Not enough of it is developing really strong, solid products. A lot of your listeners may not know this, but for every single ingredient, there are multiple different types of base product you can use. Vitamin D comes in 4 or 5 different forms. The B vitamins, they're not just B vitamins. There's different types of B vitamins.
Yeah.
Minerals, you can't just pick up a piece of chalk and eat it and think you're going to get your calcium.
Yeah.
Right? It has to be bioavailable.
Yeah.
And so all of these things went into our research of what do people need, in what form, so that when they eat it, they then can do the tests that I'm talking about. By the way, when I first did my first nutritional panel, it was about 6 years ago, roughly. It was $500, which I thought was reasonable once a year, right?
Way more expensive now.
Well, no. Actually, there's some on Amazon now. There's some decent tests for about $200.
Really? I guess I'm thinking about one of these like full panels where they like test everything, your hormones and the whole nine. But you're talking about a basic vitamin mineral panel.
Vitamin mineral panel.
Gotcha.
Correct.
Okay.
Just vitamin minerals was $500 the first time I did it.
Gotcha.
Now I can go. My last one early this year was $120.
Wow.
And so it's gotten a lot easier to do. And so
very cool.
Data, not dogma.
Data, not dogma. That's going to be the the quote of the podcast.
I took that from Kara Collier, who's on my podcast, and I just loved it so much that I better give her credit though, because it's such a good one.
You're a good man, giving her credit for it. Well, Dave, thank you so much for dropping so much knowledge on today's show. But before I let you go, I want to give you the platform. Where could people find you? What's your website, your handles? Tell us.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. It's Dirobi, Dirobi, and we have a YouTube channel that we've got a lot of my podcasts on and a variety of information there. Dirobi.com. The resources page I told you about actually has quite a few great resources. I've got a 10-page PDF on the 7 principles that I mentioned.
Yes.
So if people want to get that one, they can. And then Dirobi Health on Instagram. But you can find all that from Dirobi. And then I have my own podcast, the Dirobi Health Show, which is a blast. As you know, this is fun to do. For me, it's almost like having free coaches, like free coaching in a way, because I pick up something great from every single person.
I mean, listen, I'm not one to think that I know everything. I'm always learning. I'm constantly learning, and, just bringing on somebody. And also sometimes it's a good reminder. You said 7 principles that, some people may think, oh, it's so basic, but when they really think about it, well, I'm not really doing that one too much, or that one. Like, it's a good reminder, even if it's something that you quote unquote already know. You know what I mean? So
absolutely,
it's always good to hear it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. All right, Dave. Well, thank you so much again, and look forward to seeing your work, and good luck with everything.
Thanks so much for having me on the show. I appreciate it.
All right. Take care. Have a good one.
You too. Thanks.